Obviously, everyone is talking about Elon Musk buying Twitter and taking it private. So I'm going to kick it back to you again, Psyche. I'm going to let you start this one off. Share your thoughts on this one.
There's a lot of them. I mean, I actually think this could be a beautiful thing. I obviously everyone that listens, we're kind of moderate and lean to the right a little bit, but typically a little conservative. But we believe in free speech. At least I do, right? I believe in free speech, and I'm a big fan of free speech, regardless if you like what the other person's saying or not, or agree. So that's a really big deal to me. If someone's screaming from the mountaintop things I don't agree with, well, I have the ability to turn off the channel, close the page, close the book, or click off the website, whatever it is I'm listening or watching on, and just not pay attention to it. And that's one of the strong reasons why I love this country. So I think somebody like Elon Musk buying Twitter could kind of make sure that continues to happen, that we continue to have free speech. I think everybody's kind of realized that Twitter isn't what it was when it first started out, right? It's gotten into a lot of censorship and just banning people and shutting down accounts and into a world of oversight that it really doesn't or shouldn't be in. So overall, I'm thrilled about it. I hope it goes through. We don't know the odds that it goes through yet, but I'd actually like to see it happen.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if it does happen, I might actually suggest that we set up a Twitter feed for the Convergent Digital Media and the Purposeful Podcast. The thing that I like about it is that he's talking about transparency. One of the big concerns that I have is when you don't know what the rules of the game are, right? You'd actually mentioned this before the show, and it had to do with the savings hack, but you talked about insurance being an industry where the government could require you to purchase this product, but not tell you what the price was going to be until after the fact. Well, that's not fair. And when you don't know the rules of the game, but you're forced to play, that's not fair. And that's what's been going on with Twitter and with a lot of social media generally is we don't understand the algorithms. We don't understand what material is getting promoted and what is getting throttled. We don't understand shadow banning. We don't understand any of this stuff, but we know that it's happening. But we don't know what it is that we're doing or what it is that we're saying necessarily that might cause us to be censored. So you're moving now to the other end of the spectrum. If Musk has his way, and he's going to open the platform back up, so there is going to be a cost to that, which is that a lot of crazy people are going to be able to say a lot of crazy things. But that is the price that we pay for free speech. I think that our society is better off letting crazy people say crazy things than shutting down people that we disagree with, because ultimately the people who end up having the power to determine what the conversation should or should not be end up being the kind of people you don't want to have control over your speech. And wherever you are on the political spectrum, eventually you will be subjected to the same sorts of behavior, the same sorts of canceling, the same sorts of issues where at some point someone's going to disagree with what you say.
Yep.
And if they have the power to turn you off and shut you down and erase you from existence, then you're going to be on the wrong end of that deal. And so we don't want that to happen. So I know that we do more of a financial type show, personal finance and economics and business and entrepreneurship. But free speech is such a big overarching issue that it really does impact everything and every facet of what we do. Imagine the financial implications of being able to censor or withhold certain data.
Yeah.
Our entire economy works because of the freedom of that information, right? We know, yes, we want to invest in this company because they're performing well. Well, how do we know they're performing well? Because they have to put their performance metrics out there for people to be able to see and analyze. Well, what if they lie? Enron was an energy company, 15 years ago now or more? And they got caught basically cooking their books. And they were doing all sorts of accounting that was not allowed. And it destroyed their company. But eventually it came to the light of day. Well, if it had never come out to the light of day, Enron might still be around ripping people off and stealing people's money.
Yeah.
So you really have to have the freedom of speech so that you can get that stuff out in the open, good or bad. But ultimately, the burden is on us to have discernment and wisdom about what to make of the information that we're given. So, it's an unpleasant reality, but part of having free speech is having the responsibility to discern what speech is useful, what speech is not useful, and then move on. Take it or leave it, and then move on. But I think it's going to be nothing but good if this moves in the direction that it looks like it's going to.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You're spot on. I had a good friend of mine that used to have a pretty common response to discussions like this. And he would say, well, that's the price of admission, right? And, we live in a country, the greatest country in the world still. If you ask me, we're optimists. Our better days are ahead. But, free speech is kind of it's kind of the price of admission, right? And that price is that for me to say what I think is correct, I have to be able to hear the other person say, even if I don't feel it's correct. But if they feel it's correct, they have that right to say that as well. And if we disagree with each other, that's great. We can have a sensible, logical debate or conversation about it, which is a beautiful thing. If we don't agree and we can't just have a positive conversation, well, we just go our separate ways, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. We're not all supposed to be like-minded people, and you can't actually enlarge your mind and your thought processes without running into people that don't agree with you. I mean, you need to hear other points of view. So, a lot of us remember when they shut down a good amount of people and shut down some responses and comments during the presidential campaign last couple of years when Biden and Trump were running. And that's just not okay. It influences decisions and outcomes and silencing a group of American people because of what they want to say or what they are going to say. That's a slippery slope that I don't think any of us agree with.
Yeah. And if people do agree with it, typically it's because they want to have control over your speech.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? They don't want you to have control over theirs.
Exactly.
They want to have control over yours. It's a one-way street. So you really want to be cautious with people who think that way. I know it may mean that my feelings get hurt. People may say some really ugly things about me, but I'm prepared to deal with that. There are going to be people out there that are bad people. That's the world. Yeah. Hiding from that is not going to change it. So it's better to confront it, deal with it, and then move on.
Yeah.
And I think that society is going to be a lot healthier when people are allowed to put competing ideas out there. I mean, that is how you find the truth. I don't have the whole truth. You don't have the whole truth. Nobody has the whole truth. But if we're all aimed at that target and we're all seeking to find the truth and we all contribute to the conversation, are there going to be people in there that are bad actors? Yes, there are. But that's going to work itself out. Ultimately, we're going to be closer to the truth at the end of that conversation than we were when we started. And that's the thing that's going to carry us forward. that's the thing that's going to allow us to have the hope that we say we have.
Yeah.
The Purposeful Podcast.